Well, good morning folks. Welcome to another video. I have to say, getting up this morning was tough. Looking outside and seeing a couple of inches of snow. But yeah, today's video I am going to try and use oils. So it's something I have never really used a lot of before, and sort of brings me to the story of why I'm going to try it today. Clearing out my shed recently, I found 3 bottles of Pike oil that I bought when I was about 19 or 20, so they're over 10 years old. So it's going to either poison the lake, or we're going to catch every fish in the lake. So it's one of the two, depending on your views on obviously using Pike oils. But yeah, we're going to give it a go, see what we can do. As you can see, quite picturesque. Certainly feels cold, that's for sure. But it's a brand new lake as well. I've never ever fished here before. First time ever coming down to it. I cast the drop shot out just to try and gauge a bit of the depth, to see what sort of depth I'm fishing in. And literally first cast I had one about half a pound weight, and that was pike obviously. So that's good. It shows that they're maybe active, even though it's a sub-zero temperatures. But yeah, baits are out. All oiled up, and I'll show you a quick clip of the oils and what I'm using and exactly what way I'm doing it. So yeah, stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get you some fish. Snow is starting to really pelt down now. While it looks great, it's starting to turn to mush and slush, and everything's getting wet. The funny thing is now, the deadbait rods haven't got a touch. And I've just been sort of moving around with the drop shot rod, trying to suss out the depths and exactly what I'm fishing in. You know, this is old school. You don't have your fancy scope or your deeper things and whatnot where you can tell the depth. Just casting in and seeing the weight yourself. But I've actually had 2 fish on the drop shot now, both more or less the same size, 2 micro pike. We've had a fish that's hit one of the floats, and there's also been a fish jumping as well. So they seem to be active, and they don't really seem to be showing any interest in the deadbaits. We're only here an hour, so it's still early days, but quite strange given the fact that it's so cold and the snow as well. I honestly thought that the pike would have been quite lethargic, quite still, maybe just sitting in the deep hole somewhere. It's very strange that they're active, but it's given me a wee bit more of a buzz then to cast the drop shot a bit more and to see if we can lift anything else. I have other lures there with me as well. The famous goby shad. Never leave home without it. Certainly would be good now to give that a chuck in here to see if there's anything. There's just a pike that actually hit my float just as I said that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch over to the goby, I think. Like, it's a deep lake as well, you know, I'm fishing in about 18 foot of water, and the pike are actually up on the surface in the snow hitting floats. Like, what's going on? Alright, time to get the goby out. He's froze solid. Wow. Alright, first cast with a goby. Check my drag. Don't have a lot of weight on it, which is the only thing. The water is quite deep. I'm just going to work the edges first. Water's quite clear. That spotted billhead colour comes up really well in clear water. Okay, so these are the oils that I was telling you about earlier, the magical ones that's been in my shed for 10 years plus. As you can see, they've been through the war. They're quite old, but I'm hoping that makes them sort of extra potent. We're going to give them a go. So I've got smelt, sardine, lamprey. I'm using a smelt, so I want to mix things up a wee bit. So I filled this with lamprey. So we're just going to jab it in a few different places. About 1.5 mil. The reason I like to jab it in a few places is because then there's a few holes that's leaking. What I like to do sometimes as well is actually stick a bit of air in it. And what that does then, it sometimes can actually pop your bait up slightly as well. Brown trout are actually a very good bait for it, because the skin's so tough on them. You can squeeze a lot of air into them and they will actually pop up 6 or 7 inches off the deck. So top tip for the day. So yeah, we'll get this bad boy out and let's see if it works. Okay, so I think it's about time I re-oiled this, my second rod. So bit of a mission trying to get it. And the snow was basically burying everything. Certainly not going to be an easy job landing a fish here. The only positive is the net I have has an extendable pole on it, which will reach sort of about 9 foot out. So you might notice that I've got the roach hooked on a different way. And the reason I do that is occasionally I like to move the float shallow and I'll just let that drift about. So I like it to be a bit more lifelike when it's drifting about instead of upside down. That's just my own personal preference. I've never had any issues with hooking fish or losing fish because of it. So same again, it's the same with the smelt. A few holes just different places. And then fill it full of air just to pop it up. And that's it. And this time I used sardine oil instead of lamprey, just to keep things different, to see if one thing works better than the other. Or I'll just keep chopping and changing until we can crack the code. Okay, so fishing has been really slow on the dead baits. You know, I have a couple of drop runs. Two, as I said earlier, two small fish on the drop shot. So I'm gonna give this a bit of a chuck. It's one of the new craft cannibal shots. Fishing it on a 7-gram jig head, because the fish seem to be reacting more to the smaller baits as well than the bigger ones. I did cast a goby shad around there for quite a while. Never got a bite. Thankfully the snow's starting to die off a bit. Starting to thaw out, which means then you're going to get slush and muck and all sorts. Said about 2 drop runs on the dead bait, and when I say drop runs I mean literally grabbing the bait, running 2 or 3 feet and then dropping it. I don't know if you can see the movement in them, but they are super. Okay, so for those eagle-eyed viewers that are checking the background out of where we are, you might notice that it's a different lake. And well, to be honest, there's sort of one reason why that is, and we had quite an angry farmer that decided to come down and in his own words was told us to sling our hook, no matter how apologetic we were that we didn't know that it was private. But yeah, he definitely was not happy that we were there. So we came to another wee lake that's just round the corner from it. In fairness, it actually looks a lot nicer. We'll double check that there's no signs or anything up to make sure that we were allowed to fish it. And first cast there, I caught a perch on the drop shot. Got the deadbait rods back out again. There and there, reasonably close. It's very, very deep, this lake, out in the middle, so I'm keeping them quite close. Still fishing in about maybe 15-20 foot, give or take. So yeah, first cast with the drop shot, I've hit perch, which is good. That should keep me entertained. But in terms of my oil baits, it's been very slow. I had one drop run. The guy who's with me had one drop run in the last spot. So hopefully, hopefully we get something here in the last couple of hours. It's a shame we got through off the last spot. You know, again, as I said, we did apologise. There was probably really no need for him to be as rude as he was, but hey, it is what it is. Let's hope now it was meant to be and we get a big one in here. Oh, and I just missed another perch. Pike fishing's slow, but we've got into a shoal of these angry little boys. Literally about 40 yards, maybe more of a cast. Not to sink right down to the bottom. Seems to be where the shoal of perch have hid. Now when I say shoal, I've had 2 or 3. But it's lots better than catching nothing at all. Nice head away jetty. Wonder how secure it is. I have put on quite a bit of weight over lockdown. Yeah, this wouldn't be great now if we oh, it's a bit it's definitely slippy. Might do it. Yeah, we're gonna call it a day. It's well, to put it mildly, it's been pants. It's been really, really poor. We took a gamble. Look, it was a big gamble coming to a new lake, or lake should I say, because we were put off the first one, and it hasn't paid off at all, to be honest. I did have a few perch on the drop shot. That's not what the aim was. The aim of the video was to come out and try and catch some pike using oils, which was a complete fail. Again, as I said, this morning, before I even really had the GoPro turned on properly, I had 2 pike on the drop shot. If you could even call them pike, they were literally micro pike. Then, this is a bit chased, put onto this lake, and you know, it's a fantastic lake. It really, really is. It's so nice, really deep, looks fishy, and of course my old friend the cormorant is destroying whatever fish is left. As I said earlier, I spoke to the guy who owns the house up behind us. He says it does get quite a lot of poaching. Unfortunately, in this general area, there's quite a few lakes that suffer the same fate, and it's not ideal then, obviously. But it was close to home. It was somewhere I wanted to try. Took a gamble. Hasn't worked, and that's it. So look, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry it wasn't a lot of fish, But I think it more so it portrays just how difficult it can be some days. We can't always catch big fish. We can't always catch even any fish some days. So it's just a bit raw, and it is what it is. But at least we got out. We were treated to some really nice scenery with the snow. I'll be glad to see it go. It's not ideal either. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.